Hi everyone, this is Ruth from the Happiness Project, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the dynamics of people-pleasing in relationships. So, when we're in a relationship and we compare ourselves to other people in an unhealthy way, if this is me in a relationship, this is someone else, if I look up to them and I compare myself in an unhealthy way, I feel envy. If I see someone as comparable to me, similar strengths, similar assets, all that, then I feel competitiveness. And if I see someone below me, I look down on them, I feel disdain. So this is an interesting dynamic that comes up when you have a people pleaser in a relationship. The people pleaser puts that other person up on that pedestal. And I've had people pleasers tell me things like, they need to justify being in the relationship. They need to do all of these things. If they come to hang out, they need to clean the other person's whole kitchen or, do all the things. If they're in a relationship, they need to cook, they need to drive, they need to run all the errands and do everything they possibly can. They're often with somebody who is emotionally unavailable to some extent and is this chase for approval, this chase for affection. And they actually put themselves below because they feel so low, their self-esteem is so low that, again, it's just, I need to justify. And then I have so many people coming to me saying, I did all these things in relationship. I did everything for that person. And yet they didn't appreciate it. Nobody does anything for me back. And what's happening is they put themselves above here and the person compares. A person, they sense that they know that. Yet, like if someone's groveling to you, you recognize that they're groveling. So they sense that the other person's below here. And there's a tendency to look down on the person that's below. And it's not nice. They look down with disdain. So the more you grovel and do everything you possibly can to get approval, you get that 3-second approval of, oh, cool, thanks. You cleaned my whole house. Oh, thanks. You made me dinner. You did, like, sometimes you get that. But over time, with that people pleaser, like needing the attention so bad, they put themselves below, and no longer it's gratitude. It's, it's disdain, it's contempt. And so that happens. And then the people pleasers end up feeling very, very hurt. I do everything for everybody and no one does everything for me, or no one goes out of their way for me like this. I just wish I could be loved like that. And yet they don't believe they're worthy of it. And they feel very uncomfortable when people compliment them or say nice things and they blow it off, or do things for them. They feel very uncomfortable because they don't feel like they're worthy. So it's an interesting dynamic that happens. And there are times in relationship that the people pleaser then starts to feel resentful and starts to feel angry. So it'll be this flipping between feeling like I'm not worthy of anything and then laying out everything I did, and I do all these things and no one does things for me, and I'm angry, and then I'm hurt, and then, oh yeah, that's right, it's because I'm not worthy, let me do more things. So it's a really tough cycle, really painful cycle, where even if someone did treat them well, they end up chasing the person that agrees with them about this power differential, this status differential, and then that relationship that has that tends to like keep it in place. Whereas people pleasers, I've come to know at times that when someone does treat them well, they're not drawn to that person. The person's kind of, it's either uncomfortable or boring or uninteresting. That's a whole different topic that go a few different situations. But anyway, I'm hoping that this video gives you some insight as to what's going on in that cycle and why standing up for yourself, a lot of times people that fall into that people-pleasing pattern have a lot of fear for standing up for themselves because, well, one, they don't believe they deserve it, so it doesn't feel right. And two, if they stand up for themselves and say no and demand to be treated well or not do extra over the top for the other person, then why would they want me? Or they fear rejection, if I stop doing these things, they won't want me. If I say no, they'll reject me. So there's a lot of fear that keeps that people pleasing in place. And that's something that I tend to work with people, really deeply in therapy to work, to work through that stuff and to deal with self-esteem. But if you can pull yourself up from that, start looking at the patterns, start looking at things like the boundaries book, the codependency books, and start to play with places, where areas in my life where I can draw a line and say no and stand up for myself. Some people doing that start to recognize that people respond differently and can start to pull themselves out of that hole. Sometimes seeing the pattern is helpful, and at the minimum, it's a first step. So hope this is helpful. Hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week.